Greetings, friends. My name is Brett Ballinger. I'm pastor to the people of Prince of Peace Lutheran Church in Marlton, New Jersey. Today is April 29th, 2020, and we're in the middle of our 8th week of our stay-at-home order during the COVID-19 pandemic. And I don't know about you, but today is one of those days I'm feeling mad at the world. Just anger at every turn, feeling frustrated. Feeling frustrated at what information can we trust and not trust. Frustrated at how people are treating one another. Frustrated of still being at home. Frustrated of having to practice new behaviors. Frustrated and not knowing how long this is going to be. Frustrated and angry in all kinds of ways. What part of this is going to be our new reality of living? When I consider that, I get overwhelmed. What do the months ahead bring? With relation to the economy, with relation to our work, with relation to people's health, with relation to everyday living. And so then there arises uncertainty and fear. And then arises, I don't like it. I don't. And part of this is emotionally and just physically exhausting. We wrestle with lethargy, not wanting to do anything some moments, even some days, or days in a row. And is it depression, perhaps, setting in? And then sometimes as a leader, and I'm sure each of you may experience this as well, who can I share this with? Who can I share my frustrations with? I need to be the strong one. And a certain sense of feeling alone. All of these things seem to bring up anger. I just don't want to do it anymore. I feel the inner toddler in me wrestling, wanting to come out, wanting to throw a royal tantrum, and not caring who or what is in the way. Have any of you felt that? We've seen some tantrums happening, for certain, amongst our fellow citizens, amongst our leaders, maybe family members, and maybe even yourself. And at the heart of it is anger. But really, as we discussed in a previous video, what is underneath anger is really sadness. Sadness and frustration that things did not or are not happening as we want them. Things did not or are not happening as we want them to. That's anger. That's what's underneath the anger. Really, it is sadness, deep sadness. And a tantrum is when we act out on this anger in an uncontrolled way that is potentially harmful to ourselves or to others. And we've seen this with others around us and perhaps ourselves. There's a great video on the internet of a toddler having one such tantrum, and the father just holding the toddler in space, holding space for the toddler, allowing the toddler to be safe and to have his emotions, but to be a presence of love in the midst of that space. And so, friends, this is hard. This is a hard time. Things have changed. Things are going to continue to change. And there will be anger, and there will be fear and sadness and grief. And so how can we hold space for ourselves and others. And what this really is about, in biblical terms, is lament. We are in a time of lament. As of today, of the 53,000 people just in this country who have died from the coronavirus, and all the others who have died during this time and have yet not been able to be surrounded by family and friends, and the grieving have not been able to be surrounded as we typically have been by family and friends. This indeed is a time of lament. And so there's some things we can learn about holding space, creating a container of love and presence and attention for when we are in lament. The first one is to name it. Indeed, we are lamenting. Indeed, this is difficult. Indeed, this sucks. Whatever word you want to use. And to name the specifics of it that you don't like, that are difficult, that are challenging, that you grieve, that you're sad about. Perhaps journaling could be a helpful way to do that. And then the second part is not just naming it, but to go a little deeper. So maybe you're lamenting the not working at the moment. And so what is it about not working that really makes you sad? The fear of not having income. What will happen next? What will I do? Dig deeper. Try to get down what it's really about for you. Ask the question behind the question. Keep asking, going one step more, one step more. Keep going deeper. So first step is name it. Second step is to go deeper with it. What are we really feeling? And what's really going on underneath? And then the third one is to share it. Now, you need to share it in a way that doesn't harm other people, or that someone with whom you can share that knows that they, can just hold space for you and allow you to just let it out. And however it comes, it doesn't have to be pretty. We see the psalmist, the ones who write the Psalms, do this frequently in the Psalms. And actually, that's been a comfort for me reading some of the angry Psalms during this time, because it's kind of been putting words to some of my feelings. God can take it. You can throw it all at God. You can let it all unleash there. To share it. I don't recommend necessarily doing it on Facebook or some other social media, but some close friend who you can talk to on the phone or write it in a letter or some kind of other means, but to share it, a spouse, and to share it with God and just let it be. And then the other thing that often happens in a time of lament is to erect an altar. Some kind of monument, some kind of thing to recall that which you're grieving. So just the other day, I was taking a walk in the city and noticed a bicycle chained to a post, and it was spray painted white, and there were all these artificial flowers, and clearly it was an altar, a monument where a child had been killed on his or her bicycle. Yeah. So what might be an appropriate monument? Might be a picture. It might be something that's changed. It might just be a sign of hope. A cross or a flower. To put that flowers often change, and Scripture talks about this, uses the flower image frequently, how a flower grows and comes to beauty and then withers and dies, and then will grow again. Or as Thich Nhat Hanh often says, that our tears will water the flowers that will grow tomorrow. Our tears today will water the flowers that grow tomorrow. And so perhaps a flower will be your monument of your lament. And then finally, the fifth step is, what's the next step for me to take? The next step of life. The next step that brings life in this present situation. It may be cooking a good meal for yourself. It may be reaching out to somebody. It may be taking a walk. It may be looking at nature. But what is the one next step that will help bring life in this situation now and in this new situation? And so, friends, in this time of lament, to name it, to go deep, to share it, raise an altar, and then make a decision. What's the next step of life? And to take that step. And then to say, what is the next and the next? My friends, we are all in this together. We lament together. We move forward in life together. We are one.